Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. We are from Group 33. So today we will be presenting about what are Sharia requirements for halal products. We have 5 members who are Taib Azimuddin, Siti Khadijah, Wanur Alia, Munazah and me, Shafawati. Before we go into our discussion, I would like to introduce a bit about this topic. Islam emphasizes the concept of halal versus haram as a foundation of life. According to Islam, halal means that which is permissible, allowed, and lawful, while haram indicates that which is forbidden based on evidence from the Quran and Sunnah. We often hear about the halal foods, but halal is also capable of encompassing all consumables such as toiletries, pharmaceutical, and cosmetic, as well as services including financial services. As a Muslim, we need to avoid matter of suspicion, or in Islam call it as shubha, in order to ascertain their legal position in accordance with Islam law. The term shubha is when the real meaning of its halal and haram status is unclear. Therefore, Muslims need to be careful when choosing a product or service so that it does not conflict with Islamic law. Next, we are going to discuss about the Sharia law. The Al-Quran, Hadith, Ijma' and Qiyas are the origin of Sharia law. As we all know, Al-Quran is the primary source for all matters relating to theology and law, while Hadith and Sunnah is the fourth normative practices established by the Prophet Muhammad as a model to be followed by all Muslims. The third one is Ijma', with the new rules are formed based on Ijma' when there is no direct textual support in either Quran or Sunnah to handle a new legal situation. The last one is Qiyas, which refer to the application of a law explicitly mentioned in the Quran or Sunnah to a specific scenario not specifically mentioned in the Quran and Sunnah, accomplished by the analogical reasoning.
The concept of halal. Halal is now a universal concept that is a term only used in Islam. Means, without permission, no party can claim that food is halal. Halal and non-halal cover the entire spectrum of Islamic life without limitation, not only for food, drinks, but also for safety, animals, welfare, social justice, and sustainability. Halal and Thayyiban represent the symbol in a clean and health sense. Tolerance in the hygiene, safety, and quality of foods consumed by Muslims.
In Malaysia, a lot of endeavor has been undertaken in order to attain the ultimate goal of becoming the global hub for halal, as well as the exemplar in this industry, which has been mentioned in the Halal Industry Master Plan that spans from 2008 until 2020. Therefore, the formation of a robust framework in governing the Malaysia's halal industry is crucial to give assurance for the public that all aspects are always in accordance with the Sharia. So the Halal network in Malaysia is endorsed by multiple authorities of government at macro level, such as Ministry of International Trade and Industry, MITI, the Department of Standards Malaysia, Ministry of Health to ensure the industry's growth resilience. And most importantly, JAKIM and Halal Industry Development Center HDC will oversee the halal compliance of certification application process, which ensures the Sharia compliance. And then at the micro level, known as the Internal Halal Committee, will monitor the compliance of the organization itself to the requirements that has been set by JAKIM.
There are few aspects of halal product requirement practices that need to be looked at. According to the concept of halal and Thayyiban, hygiene and safety are top priorities. In Islam, all clean and pure food are permitted except for carrion and dead animal, flowing blood, swine, slaughter of animal without Allah's name, and killing animal in such a way that their blood cannot be fully drained from their bodies. As well as alcohol and drugs, the consumption of carnivorous animal with fangs, bird with sharp claws, and filthy animal are also prohibited. Besides, the elements used to determine halal and tayyib for conformity are the basic basis for determining halal and tayyib. To decide if a material is lawful or unlawful, make sure it is not something that has been deemed banned by Islamic law, such as faces, or even mixed with it and harmful toxic substances. To avoid contamination or mingling with filth, all halal commodities must be maintained, exhibited, and served separately from non-halal goods. To be used or consume anything that comes into contact with filth or non-halal ingredients are regarded as filthy and haram.
The slaughterhouse. The rapid growth of Islam subsequently increased the demand for ritually slaughtered halal meat. However, producing halal meat is not easy. Accurate ritual requirements for slaughtering methods are contested among some Islamic groups. Various slaughter methods can have a significant impact on the process technique used. Halal food can also become haram if they encounter or become contaminated with non-halal foods. Halal system in meat production includes good animal welfare management, slaughter process, and post-mortem management with halalan thayyiban concept. As a benefit, halal meat is produced that not only meets the requirement of Muslim consumers, but also non-Muslim consumers due to strict hygiene and sanitation standards. By practicing the halal system, companies in the industry will be able to obtain halal certification, which is considered as for entering the global halal market.
Consumer goods are products that are non-consumable, such as other products that can be found in the market, like clothing, leather goods, and stuffed animals that uses animal skin, bone, or hair. So the halal certification can be obtained by following the Islamic consumer goods standards, which describe in detail the use of animal bone, skin, and hair as general guidelines. So Sharia-compliant consumer goods must satisfy the following criteria, which the most important is that they do not comprise any trace of elements coming from dogs and pigs derivative, as it can be considered as nuts, which has been mentioned in 4 verses of Al-Quran, specifically verse 173 of Al-Baqarah, verse 3 of Al-Ma'idah, verse 145 of Al-An'am, and verse 115 of An-Nahl. And other than that, it should be free from najis as decreed by Sharia law that might contaminate the halal element of halal goods, which the goods must be free from haram animals, dead animals, blood, and also alcohol that has been emphasized in the aforementioned verses, along with the verse 43 of An-Nisa. And aside from that, it must be safe to be used and not dangerous to the consumer's wellness, as the same applied to other halal products as is decreed in verse 37 of Surah Yunus to preserve the toilet elements. Plus, the consumer goods must be supervised in terms of processing and manufacturing, in which the equipment or material must not have contact with najis, and it must be separated from those other products which do not satisfy the aforementioned Sharia requirements throughout the production, labeling, handling, and logistics. And finally, it should not comprise any human body parts. They are also prohibited. So cosmetics and personal care are products designed to associate with the external areas of the human body, particularly the skin, hair, nails, lips, but also includes internal parts such as in the mouth. So the primary function is to clean, fragrance, enhance the look, as well as to maintain them in a healthy and great state. For instance, fragrances, personal hygiene products, cosmetics, and skincare. So the halal certification can be obtained by following the Islamic consumer goods fatwa standards that describes in detail the application of halal concept in cosmetic and personal care products as the general guidelines. So first of all, halal cosmetics must not include any animal or its parts banned in Islam, such as dogs or pigs, and any byproduct of cattle unauthorized or not slaughtered in conformance to Sharia principles. So beauty products will be regarded as halal once these substances meet Sharia standards, such as the ingredients made from haram animals are not included in the production of the products. And plus, the toilet requirement is satisfied when the goods do not contain najis, harmful contaminants, and genetically modified organisms, or known as GMO, and contents that are najis and dangerous, chemical hazards, and blood should not be included. And halal cosmetics are unlike regular beauty products as any contents of porcine derivatives, alcohol, and other such impermissible substances will not be included. And alcohol is commonly utilized in mainstream cosmetics and personal products, but it is prohibited in Islam. So, prohibition of alcohol quoted from verse 90 of Al-Ma'idah, as it is considered as intoxicants in which any trace of alcohol such as sake or ethanol should not be used. Therefore, when alcohol is used as a key ingredient in providing skincare or body care benefits, it is not considered as halal. However, when it is used as a solvent or preservative, it is permissible according to the Fatwa Committee of the National Council for Malaysian Islamic Religious Affairs.
So the next part is the Sharia requirements for pharmaceutical products. So pharmaceutical is anything related to the distributions and productions of medications and treatments, but halal pharmaceutical is defined as the complete dosage forms that include both prescription and over-the-counter medications for humans which contain ingredients that is permissible under the Sharia law. So according to the hadith by Al-Bukhari, it says that Muslims must seek medications and treatments from sources that are permitted and not specified as haram, such as animal, vegetation, organic or inorganic materials. So alcohol is one of the haram component which Al-Quran has prohibited in three phases, but other types of chemical alcohol such as ethanol, pentanol, or cetyl alcohol can be a components for medication ingredients as they are not regarded as haram due to their chemical structure. So the halal standards for pharmaceutical products in Malaysia is towards MS 2424 2012. And one of the most controversial issue regarding the pharmaceutical product in halal concept is gelatins, where it is usually obtained from non-halal animals such as pig. So, but nowadays there are also sources from halal products such as animal bones that have been slaughtered according to the Sharia law. So, yep, halal definitely in pharmaceutical product is wide, and it related to ingredient that encompass in the complete dosage of medications. So the next part is the Sharia requirements for food premises and hotel businesses. So halal and Sharia law has always had a substantial impact towards the hospitality service industry, which includes the food premises and hotel businesses. So Islam religions has always encouraged their followers and support their followers to travel and participate in the tourism industry. There are several verses that shows the encouragements for tourism. So to be a part of the hospitality industry, a Sharia compliant and halal hotel should be combined with a premises that provides halal foods and beverages. So in Malaysia, these premises has to follow the MS 1500/2009 rules, which are regulated under the Akta Perihal Dagangan 2011, Food Act, Consumer Act, and other laws for halal products, which JAKIM and MAIN are one of the authorized body to issue the halal certificates. So one of the most controversial issues for this industry is that there are no standard regulations for hotel businesses. Currently, there are no standard regulations to be completely comply in order to be a Sharia compliant hotel. So there is only a guideline and certificates for premises, but not hotel businesses. So there are the standards that hotel usually follow is to be a Sharia compliant hotel is to not serve alcohol, serve only halal foods, have available Quran and prayer mats in room, position beds and toilets away from Mecca, use includes the prayers room, provide appropriate entertainment and conservative employee attire, but most importantly to have Islamic funding.
The last application in halal concept is logistic. Complying with Halal Supply Chain Management System Part 1 and 2, certified by Jabatan Kemajuan Islam Malaysia JAKIM, it follows Malaysian standard of MS 2400 2019. Halal practice is not limited to production process only. Instead, it follows all the way through supply chain from manufacturing process to the point of consumer purchase. Logistics plays an important role in preserving the integrity of halal products at the point of consumption throughout the supply chain. This including the inbound and outgoing transportation, fleet management, storage and warehousing, commodities handling, order fulfillment, logistic network design, and inventory management. Companies must obey with the general requirements in the following Malaysian Halal Domestic Certification, which included the transportation and distribution, only the use of halal raw materials and products only. Appropriate transportation shall be used according to the requirements of the nature of the product. Next, transport shall be kept in a clean and controlled condition at all times. Other than that, also should be a written contract or agreement or mutual agreement shall be obtained if the transportation and distribution are arranged by a third party. Any activities of transportation and distribution of raw materials or products shall comply with the requirements of law and regulation. And lastly, if the transport is contaminated with mukhalafah feces, certain process should be carried out.
Sharia requirements for halal products is extremely important, where it allows Muslims to demonstrate their religion in actions by being obeying and submitting to Allah's rules and regulations in doing and consume what is permissible under His laws. So the second is to ensure Muslim lifestyles of production and consumption are all permissibles, where it is strongly tied to the concept of hereafter. And finally is to build confidence among the consumers, especially among Muslim consumers, with the additions of Jakim and Ma'in certifications of halal will encourage Muslims and shows confidence for them to buy or consume such products.
Next, I will talk about the issues and challenges may be faced by the halal management in Malaysia. First, lack depth understanding in halal by the business owner. There are some business owners that use halal certification from incompetent or suspended authorities. Many of them will use Islamic names or employ Muslim people to cover up themselves in business premises. These unethical acts may cause their credibility and halal status of their products to be questioned. Secondly, overlapping power in inter-agency jurisdiction. As the main body involved in halal certification and enforcement in Malaysia, JAKIM played the biggest role here and supported by few other agencies such as Ministry of Domestic Trade, Cooperative and Consumerism Ministry, State Islamic Religious Department, and local authorities. As a result, the point implies that halal affairs are governed by a particular legislation or date. However, these agencies with unstandardized role, jurisdiction, and regulation make the existing law is distinct from one another. And lastly, lack of halal enforcement. The amendment to the APT 2011 allowed JAKIM and JAIN the authority to warn, suspend, or revoke business license. However, since the prosecution authority for cases involving halal products is put under the jurisdiction of the civil court, only JAKIM officers with civil court qualification can involve with the prosecution cases. As a conclusion, I will say that committing to halal legislation in every aspect of life is our obligation. After we go through the importance and challenges in ensuring the strength of halal legislation, the authority should be highlighting the importance of halal legislation and encourage all companies to implement halal practice in Malaysia. We also as consumers must be alert with any products that we use, either from food, skincare, and even consumer goods such as bag and bulk. Make sure that all these were safe to use. We are required to fulfill our obligation in committing to halal legislation in every aspect of life and avoid anything shubha or even worse, illegal things. And that's all from us, Group 33 on the Sharia requirements for halal products. Thank you.